it looks like Jen Rosati and Don Staley and all those folks that Cheryl Reeve, who had a hand in Caitlin Clark not making Team USA last year in the Olympics, the actual committee, looks like they may be gone.
Shut out the most dominant female athlete and watch the chaos unfold. Angry fans everywhere, headlines spiraling out of control, and officials desperately trying to explain themselves while everyone demands answers.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around. Because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb.
Caitlin Clark gets completely shut out of the Olympics, and now USA Basketball just blew up their whole selection process. The aftermath? Absolutely brutal. Heads are rolling, and fans are calling it exactly what they deserved. Sue Bird's now running the show, which means Clark's road to LA 2028 just got a major upgrade. Nobody saw these shockwaves coming from one controversial decision. So what really happened when Cheryl Reeve went head-to-head with the Olympic brass? Drop CC 2028 in the comments if you want to see Caitlin absolutely destroy it at the Olympics.
To be a committee. Dawn Staley, Jennifer Rizzuti, and all of the hooligans associated in picking the USA basketball team. All of the hooligans, Cheryl Reeves included, so full of themselves, so bound by tribalism that they just couldn't look past their own nose. And at the end of the day, look at them now. Look at them now. The same fate as Cheryl Swoops calling those Dallas Wings games. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Team officials kept pushing the same line about Clark missing the cut for basketball reasons only. Yeah, right, that's what they desperately wanted people to swallow. Chair Jen Rosati kept hammering home that experience mattered most. International competition history, pure court performance, nothing else factored in. Popularity and star power, completely irrelevant, according to their script. Fans saw right through that spin job, though, recognizing damage control when they heard it.
Remember during the Olympics, a person from either South Korea or Japan, holding up the Caitlin Clark sign? Team USA looked at that gentleman and said, $sign, $sign. These people over there in Japan, these people over there in South Korea, they're not paying for Team USA to come and watch hoop, but they'll pay for Caitlin Clark. In fact, they are so strong about voicing that they'll pay for Caitlin Clark. They'll come to the Olympic game holding a sign that says,
Hold up. We're supposed to accept they benched the most game-changing force in women's hoops, someone who demolished, basically, every college scoring milestone and revolutionized the entire sport in 12 months? Where's the logic in that move? And here's what they conveniently ignored about experience. Clark dominated internationally before, capturing FIBA U19 World Cup gold not once but twice, plus tournament MVP recognition. Pretending that track record doesn't exist, that's when the story stops adding up.
Decision on his part. Caitlin Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out to get her. They don't want to.
Check out what went down the second Caitlin Clark stepped onto WNBA courts. Ticket costs went absolutely crazy everywhere the Fever showed up. Venues that used to beg people to attend were suddenly impossible to get into. Her first game against Connecticut completely destroyed every NBA playoff audience that weekend, setting a milestone nobody thought was possible in WNBA territory. Clark's rookie merchandise flew off shelves faster than anything the league had ever seen. During that incredible debut season, she obliterated 62 different records, cementing her pace as a genuine game-changer.
The National Basketball Association, the NBA, the commissioner, Adam Silver, he came right out and said, I wouldn't have left Caitlin Clark off that team. And he even said, and several others said, women's basketball really dropped the ball on an opportunity to grow the women's game by leaving Caitlin Clark off that team.
This wasn't gradual change we're talking about. Caitlin Clark completely revolutionized global interest in women's basketball overnight. But somehow, Olympic decision-makers concluded she wasn't worth a roster spot. The pushback hit like a tsunami right away. Basketball experts immediately called out the weak reasoning behind everything. Stephen A. Smith absolutely destroyed the choice, saying it killed the sport's momentum right when it mattered most. Four-time Olympic champion Lisa Leslie went even harder, branding Clark's snub the worst promotional blunder basketball had ever witnessed.
This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision?
What's the real message here? It revealed an ancient system controlled by people who refused to adapt or grow. Committee members acted like women's basketball was still begging for basic recognition. 20 years ago, they completely missed that Caitlin Clark represented more than incredible talent. She was a generational chance to launch the entire sport into global prominence. Consider this reality. Olympic coverage brings casual fans to sports they never watch otherwise. That's exactly when legends get made and movements start. But the committee consciously excluded the one player guaranteed to grab those exact viewers. Leaving Clark behind wasn't just ignoring skill, it was sabotaging the sport's greatest opportunity for worldwide expansion.
Dummies. For the first time, like in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world. Like, you could argue right now, Caitlin Clark is the most talked about, discussed, most popular, most puts asses in the seats, single basketball player in the world. You could argue that. Yeah, you can say maybe LeBron, Luka, whatever you want, but you can argue it. And you leave her off the Olympics team, it's not only a showcase for her, it's for the sport and the other WNBA players who are on this team. How dumb, how brain dead, how idiotic do the people running this thing have to?
This became the breaking point for women's basketball, proving the sport was suffocating under ancient leadership approaches. The committee's rigid focus on rewarding experience instead of embracing star appeal didn't just draw criticism, it triggered a complete public relations nightmare. Fan anger reached levels that couldn't be contained, and the blunder was too glaring to excuse or rationalize. Clark's exclusion wasn't even the deepest problem, though. Underground USA basketball was already falling apart. Years of broken selection methods, leadership failures, and misplaced priorities were finally getting exposed. The Clark situation wasn't some random mistake. It was the inevitable outcome of a corrupt system that had been deteriorating for years and was now imploding spectacularly.
If Caitlin Clark would have played, it would have been the biggest ratings of the Olympic Games last year. All right? And yeah, I don't know what it could have done to women's basketball.
Cheryl Reeve keeps saying she didn't control Caitlin Clark's Olympic fate, acting like she barely participated in selections and got unfairly targeted when USA basketball faced heat. Good attempt at deflection, coach, but the facts paint a completely different picture. The proof of her involvement tells the real story.
But as a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side.
I'll get two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
Any second guessing here about not having Clark on the Olympic team?
Reeve absolutely shaped those selection choices, whether she was the sole decision maker or not. Committee leader Jen Rosati straight up admitted the roster got designed around Reeve's coaching approach. So when Reeve pretends she lacked influence, she's basically running from accountability. The instant fans started demanding explanations for why the most explosive player in women's basketball got excluded from Olympic competition. Reeve started pointing fingers elsewhere, even though her impact was written all over those final choices.
Along with nearly losing the gold medal game to France, the U.S. women's team was caught up in controversy leading up to the Olympics because Caitlin Clark was not on the team. The argument not to take Clark, a rising global megastar in the sport, was in part because she had not participated in many Team USA offseason functions, and also because there were women with more national team experience who had earned the right to play at the Olympics.
Just examine those roster picks, experienced players who matched Reeve's philosophy, emphasizing defensive commitment above offensive explosion. The committee's selections obviously mirrored Reeve's conservative team-building mindset, and that approach almost lost them the gold medal completely.
Enough to be on the team. Based on how Caitlin Clark was playing at the time, she was worthy of being on this team. This is Caitlin Clark up against Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, and Kelsey Plum. Yeah. It's tough when you see it in front of you, right? Chelsea Gray's not even on this graph. Why isn't Chelsea Gray on this graph, you may ask? Great question. Chelsea Gray started the beginning of the season in...
Think back to that crucial battle with France. Team USA was supposed to dominate that game easily. Instead, they scraped by with a 67-66 nail-biter. The roster couldn't generate reliable scoring when it mattered most. Every time defenses focused on stopping Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart, ball movement broke down and quality three-point looks disappeared. Having someone like Caitlin Clark available would have changed everything in those critical sequences. The team looked slow and predictable too often, missing the spark, pace, and innovation that Clark's explosive playing style delivers every single night.
Clark, based on skill, based on how she was performing, deserved to be on that team. Based on Chelsea Gray coming off hobbled from injury, you don't even know the status of her as a player. Caitlin Clark should have been on that team. She was easily one of the best players from Jump Street. Her struggling. Oh my God, she's struggling with 16 points, 6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. Oh my God, the struggle. She's shooting 39%. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd always shoots like trash. Kelsey, you got...
Caitlin Clark's explosion after the Olympic snub became the ultimate proof that Reeve's evaluation was completely wrong. Before getting left off the roster, she was putting up 15.6 points with 6.3 assists nightly. After the exclusion, those numbers jumped to almost 23 points and 9.5 assists per contest. That included a mind-blowing 19-assist performance that shattered WNBA rookie history. Clark's dramatic growth and record-smashing influence proved the committee's assessment was fundamentally broken, raising serious questions about their judgment and standards.
Get this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are...
Cheryl Reeve's reaction to questions about the Indiana Fever star made everything worse. When reporters asked about Clark's Olympic prospects, she snapped back, asking why she should address national team topics at all. As tensions escalated, she kept distancing herself from Olympic duties while wearing her Minnesota Lynx gear like some kind of statement. This wasn't just one bad moment. It showed a leadership mentality that wouldn't bend with women's basketball's changing reality. Team USA grabbed gold eventually, but those close calls revealed how dangerously near the squad came to failing under rigid methods and stubborn coaching philosophy.
Much conversation about women's basketball. The run you at South Carolina had to the national championship, a perfect season. Obviously, Caitlin Clark. And there was so much conversation on, should Caitlin be on the U.S. women's national team? You were part of the selection group. Mm-hmm. Give me your read on that now that we've got a little bit of time and we can get into some clear air to see what happened.
Right. When, as a committee member, you're charged with putting together best team of players, the best talent. Caitlin is just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration to make.
Everything combined into a disaster scenario. The team's shaky showing, Reeve's questionable roster building, and her refusal to accept criticism created total chaos. A system that valued old traditions over fresh talent and commercial appeal became impossible to defend for USA basketball, forcing immediate and dramatic changes.
She is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people, shooting the ball extremely well. I mean, she is an elite passer.
If we were playing how she's playing now, she would be in high consideration. They can't even admit to themselves. If she was playing how she's playing now, yeah, she would definitely be on the team. We could have had our cake and eat it too. We got Kobe and LeBron on the same team.
The Clark situation exposed problems that went way deeper than just picking players, revealing serious structural issues in how USA basketball approached Olympic competition. Fixing it required more than swapping coaches or adding different athletes. It needed completely rethinking the entire philosophy behind Olympic basketball strategy.
Sue Bird, is expected to be announced as the managing director for the USA women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. She will take on what is known as the Grant Hill role, selecting player rosters and coaching staff. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with the WNBA or the women's side of Team USA, and Grant Hill's a little bit new in this role, Jerry Colangelo role. Jerry Colangelo, the godfather of Team USA basketball from 2005 to 2021, picking, I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him.
USA Basketball just completely transformed their women's Olympic operation. Sue Bird, who won 5 Olympic golds, 4 WNBA titles, and stands as an absolute icon of the game, just became the managing director. Her taking charge represents way more than a leadership change. It signals a total reconstruction of how future Olympic squads will get assembled and managed.
USA Basketball will announce a major shift in its structuring on Thursday when Sue Bird is announced as the managing director for the USA Women's National Team 2028 cycle. Her hiring is a departure from a long-standing structure of using a committee to select players and coaches for national team rosters, and comes on the heels of a very close call for the USA women.
This power shift represents a massive authority change, first broken by The Athletic and backed up by multiple insider sources. Sue Bird will skip the confusing advisory committee structure, taking direct command of coaching choices and roster construction. Ring any bells? It should. This copies the exact framework Grant Hill has run for the men's program since 2021, putting Bird in complete hands-on control of USA women's basketball's destiny.
Financial opportunities for women grow in the sport, and in marketing, USA Basketball wanted to make sure it was doing everything possible to ensure the allure of playing major international events remained strong, and a phone call from Bird is going to go a long way with players, one source close to the USA program said.
Picture what this transformation means. No more shadowy committee choices happening behind closed doors. No more coaches dodging blame for decisions they claim they didn't influence. Bird now controls the final say completely. Caitlin Clark makes the roster if she earns it. Period. No debate. Bird's mix of basketball brilliance and business understanding makes her ideal for this position. She gets what sells tickets and expands the sport's reach. Bird has celebrated Clark's special abilities, highlighting her incredible shooting range and game-altering impact. She also gets how Clark has destroyed old stereotypes about women's basketball, proving her influence reaches way beyond just playing well.
Bird is taking over as managing director of USA Basketball. And this is done in a model of the men's way of doing it. Okay? She will have the...
Bird's endorsement of Clark goes deeper than simple compliments. It shows she values star power and marketability. Bird knows that drawing crowds matters just as much as winning games. Gold medals remain the main target. Obviously, but Olympics also need to hook millions of casual watchers, converting them into lifelong supporters and pushing women's basketball into global mainstream territory.
Bird's been a vocal supporter of Caitlin Clark. The fact is, while everybody was coming down on Caitlin Clark last year, so many, she was one that was trying to prop her up and was an advocate for Caitlin. I do not think you will. Caitlin Clark will not make that team next time, I can tell you.
Bird carries incredible respect with active players, having shared courts with basically every major star currently playing. She knows who elevates teammates, who delivers in pressure moments, and who might fold, knowledge that becomes priceless when constructing Olympic rosters. This announcement's timing wasn't accidental either. While the Clark controversy has exploded everywhere, USA Basketball saw their program's credibility crumbling, watching a gold medal performance that almost escaped their grasp. With women's basketball hitting unprecedented popularity levels, the old broken system clearly couldn't handle the sport's expansion or protect its emerging superstars.
Bird's new role is a major change for USA Basketball. Previously, the women's team and coaching staff was named by committee. Now, that is Sue Bird's job. Wow.
Bird's hiring represents a complete departure from USA Basketball's traditional power structure and internal politics. Team selections will finally balance elite performance with star appeal for the first time, abandoning outdated philosophies and secretive committee processes. Roster decisions will now come from someone who genuinely understands both the game itself and its broader commercial potential. For Caitlin Clark, this change is absolutely huge. Her Olympic dreams just got a massive boost, bringing fresh optimism and real opportunity. Her journey toward potential redemption and team inclusion is just getting started, marking a new chapter where skill, impact, and global appeal finally get the recognition they deserve.